Let's see if anybody actually tuned into the second part.
I reckon he will.
The first bit might have been a bit too
Like,
boring.
oh my God, fucking shit this. Just waffling about fucking paint.
God.
So we're on part 2 of the podcast with my better half, Charlotte.
Part 2.
The first half was more about, I guess, updates of what you're kind of doing in the business now, and a little bit of history of what we did together to get to this stage, and then never really talk about the future as much, but a little bit of future as in different projects that we're doing. More and more around what you're doing now in general, isn't it?
Yeah. Sorry.
And I think my my story, my success story, my journey, my well-being journey has been extremely well documented, from social media to news articles to stuff that we do around suicide prevention and drug addiction and everything else. But we've never put anything up on social media about your success story overall.
No.
There's never been a picture of your blurb, because I think you've still been working through your blurb, I think. But recently, well, not recently, that sounds like you've only just improved overall, but I think over at least the last 2 years, you've been the strongest I've ever known you.
Yeah.
And hopefully the strongest you've ever known yourself, more than anything else. But I thought it'd be good to speak about your success story rather than just putting a picture up on social media and then a blurb, because I think it's a bit more personal when you speak about yourself in an environment like this, of what you've built and how many people you've helped. So I think it'd be good to speak about, in your own words, your success story, what you struggled with overall, the struggles that you did have, and then how strong and what you did to get over it, with obviously the help of me.
Don't worry, I'll give you a little bit of credit.
Gotta give a bit
I
of
won't
credit.
leave you out completely.
No, totally not. But I thought it'd be good for you to speak about ultimately you, and
Okay.
about anything that you want to share of your own success story.
Yeah, I think the before and after photos that you see of people when they've been on a significant journey, you can kind of see a big difference physically. You can see an element of mentally, and like, skin colour. You can kind of see like maybe a real smile as opposed to a kind of a sad smile and a fake smile. So yeah, you can see that a little bit. But my pictures wouldn't really look much different.
No.
Because I've been a very good pretender actress. I knew we needed tissues. of my story. My stories. I still find it hard to talk about. I definitely would say I'm recovered, and I definitely would say, I operate really well. I operate at a 9, 10 out of 10 every day. But there is still a sadness that I have. Sorry, that's associated with my long. I'm fine.
Just in case you need tissues.
With my long battle with mental health.
And this is what it's about, though. Like, people know Charlotte, and they may not know how much Charlotte suffered with mental health and emotional well-being. If you look at Charlotte physically, and you go, "Oof, look amazing, looking really strong," and you are mentally and physically strong now. But I think when you speak about it, obviously it's still so very raw from where you once was to where you are now, and there's loads of factors into that.
Yeah.
But as you say, you operate at a 9 or a 10, far better than I do, for longer. I have dips. I have a 6 months anger streak for some reason.
Yeah.
You know what I'm like when I get in that mode of 6 months. I'm like, just fucking want to rip everyone apart. But you, if you look at you and people see this all the time, yeah, I'm fine, I'm okay. Yeah, but now
people wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know.
A lot of people wouldn't know. Which is, it's what you do day to day. We're all very good at pretending that everything's fine, and social media tells you that, oh, look how happy they are, look at their life. I'm not necessarily talking about ours, because I don't really share that much, to be honest. I'm a bit boring. Those social media don't bother following me.
Don't follow it, it's boring.
No, I am boring. I just got the energy to put it in up there. Yeah. I mean, I take loads of pictures, but they just don't really
stay in your camera roll.
They sit there and then they just clog up my phone, and then I can't use my
delete
phone. Yeah, I'm not very good at that. But yeah, I think what people would see from me, and they would probably say, "Oh, Charlotte's a strong character. Charlotte's bubbly.
But
She's
you are
lively."
now. You are now.
And I was then. And I was then. So even when I've had some really dark times, I've still functioned really, really well. I've had an important job. I've been a leader of a number of people, of large teams, of working a multi-million-pound business, and there was a lot of pressure with what I did a lot of the time. And sorry, dry mouth. I coped really well. I pretended I did. I wasn't coping at all. But if you've seen me in my suit on the shop floor, being amazing with customers, I went to work every day most of the time to.
You're good at putting on a show.
Yeah. You learn to cope, and a lot of people do like that. I'm one of
Millions.
Like I'm
Probably billions.
I'm probably one of the most normal people out there because I do cope. I get by. I've got by. I've probably my proudest achievement is surviving. Because there was lots of times where I didn't want to be here, and there was lots of times where I genuinely considered just ending it. Like dark times in my life where I actually think now, how did I not do it? Because it was all I thought about from the moment I opened my eyes to the moment I closed them. How can I die today? How can I die? I need to die. I just need to go every day.
And I think what I vision with this podcast and having honest, genuine conversations, because I bet you, out of how many people know you? Thousands of people would not expect this conversation right now.
No.
So then,
Some
imagine
people
how
that
many
see me every day in my place of work, and I'm
Previous.
keeping everybody going. Are you okay? No, you're not. Okay, let me help you. What can I do to help you today? My job was helping people, developing people, mentoring people, getting the best out of people, creating the best place to work, creating the best environment for the customers. Like, that was my job, and I was deep down like fighting my own demons, and I suppose it helped me get through that because I had a purpose. I did have a purpose. I enjoyed my job most of the time. I had a purpose. I suppose that's one of the things that's kept me on this planet, that and Eva. But I had a purpose. That was probably one of the things that was going. You've got a great career. You've got a great job. You've got people that I look up to. You've got people that listen to you. You've got people that need you. And that was my get up and go, and probably one of the things that kept me going, actually.
How long ago was when the emotions that you're speaking about now, and the feeling of not being here and waking up every day thinking, how can I end it all, and not wanting to be alive ultimately because of the exacerbation of your mental, emotional well-being?
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
I think the last mega panic attack I had, where I really I just have a serious word of myself about not doing anything silly, was February. When you went to Amsterdam, what was then? How many years ago was that?
2019?
Not that long ago.
No.
You think about it like that?
No. And
when I went through that counselling on the Thursdays, remember, I used to go to counselling in the morning. I used to do a late shift.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely awful because that counselling would bring everything to light, and then I'd travel to work. And then at the time, I was doing a really challenging project. It was quite a tough job, that
I
one,
remember.
when it was based in a different place and helping people with significant change in their life, which I actually really loved doing, and I did a good job at it. But at the same time, I was dealing with all this stuff, and it was like, whoa, how much can you take? Like, how much can your body take? I knew I was at my max. I got through it. I kind of finished the project, and then, I kind of took some time off after that just to go, wow, that was a bit much. I suppose what I learned from that is where my limit is, and where at that point I knew I was very close to.
But not many people find that limit.
No.
Not many people will. I'd say that's beyond your limit, to be honest, because I know how hard that job was, or project, should I say. And you're dealing with people, as you say, having significant life-changing roles or moving out the company or moving side of the company, and there's loads of uncertainty around pay and not being able to pay for things. So you had their emotions on top of
it was dealing
going
with
to
difficult,
counselling.
upset people. Yeah, it was tough. It was emotionally, and I'm naturally empathetic. That is who I am. Like, if someone's upset, I will feel that.
Yeah, really, I don't.
Well, you don't have that.
No.
Whether I've had experience of it or not, I'll still feel that. If someone's genuinely upset and whatever, I'll get that. I will absorb that. That comes into me somehow. So I'll be like, oh, I'm really sad for you, or I'm really, really happy for you.
So you take
I get that.
And take
Yeah,
it
I do. I
think you've always been like that as long as I've known you. So then that happened 2019. We're in 2022 now, aren't we? So that's only, 3 years ago?
That just shows you, though, excuse me, that how strong I feel now. And I say this to people all the time, actually. I have these types of conversations with people all the time, especially people struggling with mental health who I have a lot of conversations with.
It's what we do day to day, isn't it?
Yeah, every day.
Hundreds of conversations?
Every day. Like, it is temporary, and there is a way out. And I've lived to tell the tale, and that's something I'm quite proud of, that I can...
I'm proud of you.
Yeah, because I can relate to people, number one. And number two, you know, I actually know how hard it is to get through that and to build up. And, you know, it's a weird thing, mental health. It's a real weird thing. Like, you know what you need to do to get better most of the time. Most of us have got a good enough understanding of what we need to do differently. But one of the issues with mental health is fatigue. You know, you've got no energy, you've got poor focus, you're making poor decisions, your nervous system's off the scale, you're poorly, you're physically, as you know, as well as mentally, you're just not operating well at all. And you know how to get to the next point, but taking those steps, that's like, just seems so difficult. So me and you going to the gym now is something I actually can do. There was a time where that was really hard, and that is still really hard for some people, leaving the house, going to work, surviving.
Like, you're talking about 25 to 35% of our members, and the only reason they come here because they do feel fucking safe. They wouldn't go to any other facility because all them things that you're describing, from anxiety to depression to isolation, is the biggest killer of people from a suicidal perspective, because when you isolate yourself, you just disconnect from a travel, emotional well-being perspective. So then when you come to a space that you genuinely, and I say this to a lot of people, but I mean it deep down inside, it's a genuine safe space to be in with our Wellbeing Centre or one of our programs. And you mentioned that you've spoken to people about, I've been there, blah blah blah, and again, people come in and automatically have a presumption of me, or think I'm a certain way. I'm a Scouser, I've got a beard, I drive a quad bike, I look a certain way. What does he know about fucking mental health and emotional well-being and being the lows you've ever felt from a suicidal perspective, to being a drug addict, to alcoholic, poor mental health? People just see what they see, don't they?
Yeah.
So then having this conversation, and obviously still being quite raw for you. Yes, you operate at a 9 or a 10 out of 10, which is phenomenal, in my opinion. Not many people can operate from that, even without following my blueprint. You don't do some of it, do you? Because you're just you're in such a happy space overall.
Yeah.
From Billy to business to Eva to our relationship to the team, so many other good things.
Yeah.
But you've worked your fucking ass off to get to that space. So then when you say, oh yeah, I've been there, and the reason I'm getting to the point is that when people see this, they go, well, actually Charlotte has been through some fucking shit, rather than just coming off your tongue. So then hopefully people you speak to, I don't think they'll think that you're a liar, because you're not a liar.
I've just had my heart out on the screen.
But people will...
I'd be a very good actress. I mean, definitely get awards for that one.
Get a fucking BAFTA. But people will hopefully watch that and generally go, bloody hell. We haven't spoken about specific reasons why you got to that space, but we don't really need to, I guess, unless you want to. But people will see you now and you're like going, wow, she's come through some fucking shit there to get to where she's at.
Yeah, and I think I was talking to someone about it the other day. Like, In fact, what triggered it was I was in a Kundalini session, which if you're not familiar with what that is, it's kind of a deep breath work, yoga style practice where you really kind of put you're encouraged to go into a different mental state. It's really empowering. It's a bit like Wim Hof type stuff. It's breath work. It's control.
Removes that negative energy overall.
It's moving energy through the body, and you know, some people might be a bit skeptical, and definitely there are those people around.
I was, and I'm a person who believes in lots of different things, from the universe connecting to me, to connecting to Billy, to connecting to you. Like I'm now quite spiritual. Don't believe necessarily in religion, but I am quite spiritual overall. But then when we met Lindsay, who's absolutely brilliant, by the way, she's the Kundalini yoga teacher, instructor. I was very skeptical. Yeah. But then when I did it, you know what I was like. But
so you experienced it, I experienced it. So I had this session, and I was basically this mantra for 3 minutes. It was quite long, actually.
3 minutes is long.
Yeah. And I was lying down at the end, just like, okay, just reflect and I just got this overwhelming, like almost like knock you down. If I was standing up, I feel like it was that powerful. It would have knocked me over. Like that's how I imagine it. That's how I'm trying to explain how powerful that wave of. It was gratitude. What I felt. It was. I'm so grateful. Probably going to get upset again now, because it was just really powerful, and all I could think about was, I'm so grateful. I'm not in that dark place anymore. I feel like I was in it for such a long time. And I mean, like I said, I coped. If you see me, I was fine.
How long was you like that for? Because it was a long time.
From the age of 16 to 34.
That's a long time.
Yeah. So
to hold on, so we speak about energy a lot.
Yeah.
Do you think how much you're harboring from stress to anxiety to deep rooted disconnect of most people? Because if you feel like that, you feel isolated. Do you know what I mean? So then, being that having poor mental health for that long, that's an extremely amount of time. People don't last fucking 6 months. People don't last a year.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't throughout those years. It wasn't every day. But it was definitely periods.
You were living with it for
There was more poor mental health than there was good.
Yeah.
In fact, it was probably the majority. So I was just thinking...
Doing a Kundalini yoga and you felt this overwhelming
I was
gratitude.
just thinking, I'm just so happy now that I'm not in that place. Like, someone somewhere has changed my direction. So I can have a happy life now, and I can finally experience like happiness, because for so long... I was trying to be happy, pretending to be happy. I thought I was happy. But obviously now I know what that really is. And, you know, just bringing it back into what we do and why we do what we do. This is why we do what we do. Like, Craig's background is well documented. Some of our members' background is well documented.
The success stories that we post.
Mine isn't so much, however, mine is a fundamental part of why we help what we help, why we do what we do, because it's important to me. It's important to me that people get help.
You believe it. So then when you deliver whatever you deliver, either that be a school session with Blake and High, no matter if that's just an induction with one of our members, if that's just having a conversation at the desk, or one of the other wellbeing projects that we do, because it's coming from a deep-rooted understanding of where you once was to where you are now.
And like I said, I feel powerful. Like, I feel powerful and proud that I can do that. And I'm not saying I can go and I can change your life.
No, you can though.
But well, yeah, I suppose I can. I know I can, actually, because I've done that with some people. But yeah, I can. I know that you can get through it. So my advice is strong, because I don't tell you what to do to help you, but I can prove to you and show you actually that I'm living proof that there is a way out, and that you can get to this point, like you can get here.
And I think that's why I bang on about lived experience so much, because yes, we're not clinically trained mental health nurses, psychiatrists, fill in the blank, but I believe in my perception and my overall belief system that you can't take away or knock lived experience. People do within this arena, I guess.
Yeah.
But I'd rather have you. I've never been to a doctor around my overall mental and physical health. I never have. I'm a know-it-all, so I believe I know better. But obviously I don't to a degree, because there's a reason why you go to university and there's a reason why you want to be a GP. But as a human being and what I believe, I'd rather go to a person who's been through lived experience. People see this podcast now and go, I want to speak to Charlotte. And they should do, because think about it, how many years is that? I'm not good with maths. So 16 to what? 32, did you say?
It's just shy of like
20 years.
Mm-hmm.
So living with those overall emotions for 20 years, 2 decades. And then I actually had a conversation. I was in a support session with someone yesterday, and he was saying that when they first came in, everything that you're describing, everything, they felt like when they first came in, and they went on the treadmill, and they've known you for a long time, and the first thing that they see when they walk through the doors was you, and you were like, "Hi, how you doing? How you getting on?" And he was really like obviously quite nervous and anxious and terrified to walk through the door, but then they see a Charlotte and they're like, "Hi," and then they automatically respond in a positive way rather than trying to hide their emotion. And he said he came in that day and you helped him get through that week. You don't know that.
No.
You don't know that information.
I mean, sometimes people would do say like, thanks, they'll get a message and go, thanks for today, I don't think you realise what you've done, and that is really nice and really warming, but I don't necessarily do it for that. I do it because I want people to get help. I want people to feel supported. I want the world to do a better job of helping people that I've got poor mental health conditions. Yes, it's not. We're moving away from the stigma, which is fantastic, and so much has changed over the years around kind of understanding mental health. But up until I haven't. My healing process was not given to me by any medicine or by
any professional.
Not that I disregard that anyway.
No, you don't.
Because I completely believe that is a fundamental part.
There's levels of medication required, and there's levels of counselling and additional support around that.
Yeah.
But what did it help you overall? So
I've been on and off medication for years. Tried them all probably.
Got the jazz.
Every single one made me poorly, physically. Every single one.
I remember them last ones you were on.
Oh, horrendous.
Really quite bad.
Yeah, not everybody has an adverse effect like I do, and they help them, and that's great, to get you through. But that's not saying that that isn't an option, because it obviously is for the majority of people. But the way I got through it was, I've always been physically fit, so my anxiety played a big part in that, because how I looked was important. This is why I say my before picture would look a bit like, she looks great there. Well, actually, I was in shape when I had high anxiety, because part of my anxiety is what people thought of me, how I looked. Not that I was a big veiny person, but it was still important that I kind of had a persona. And
I think culturally and everything else that comes with it. Yeah. From adverts to social media.
Yeah.
You want to look a certain way, and that's part of confidence, and that's part of having anxiety, is going out buying a dress to go out to a night out if you're bigger than what you want to be. So
the way I look. So I've always had an interest in fitness. I've never ever not trained in some way or another, and there's always been a direct correlation between better mental health and physical health. So when I've been active in the gym, or I've been working towards something, I don't know, a 5K, Race for Life, did it every year with Tesco Group, and that is something that you work towards. When I've been on a mission, or when I've been happily accessing, gym classes, or had a gym friend, and I was accessing that kind of setting and being active, they were the times when I was dealing with things better. And I'm a bit of a nerd, as you know. I love biology. I love the way the body works. I'm really, really interested in that. So I understand what happens behind the scenes. with biology and then with the connection with the brain. So that's one thing. Just learning about me, accepting me, understanding me, and all those things is not something I'm good at or wasn't good at, but I am now. What else is different? Obviously, you've played a big part in that. I did say I'd give you a little bit of credit to theirs.
I've played a
30
big part in it, to be honest. Like,
yeah, you actually have, yeah. So you've brought a new lease of life to me, and definitely made me see things from a different point of view. You helped me with some hard times with my ex-partner and the challenges I went through with that, and handling that, which pulled me away from a big dark place. So once I got out of that, I could kind of see the wood for the trees and start seeing a bit more clearer. So I think I was just learning and getting support with things and just moving forward, and everything's gradual. Nothing happens overnight.
No.
And different things have got better over time. So it could be coincidence. It could be that I understand how important it is to physically move. Helping people gives me a huge huge positive boost. Like, if I've made a difference to someone's day, and I'm not even just talking about in this environment, I mean in life, with my friends, with my family. If I've helped someone in a positive way, like, that is a natural endorphin boost for me. Like that, I'm
increases serotonin level as a receptor. It's like sex does the same, gambling does the same, going for a nice walk does the same. The serotonin levels increase when you connect to somebody.
Connection, communication.
The biggest success in overall physical and mental and emotional well-being is love. So part of love is connection, part of love is helping, part of love is empathy. I lack on the empathy side, but the amount of, you could call it love support that we do for people, because we listen to people in general. So as soon as you
just
have
giving
that
someone
emotion,
your time is
massive.
Is huge.
When you said the word coincidence, so I will challenge you on that. I don't think anything's a coincidence. So I think how we met wasn't a coincidence. I believe in the universe and connecting everybody for a specific reason. Look what we fucking created out of coincidence. I don't believe in coincidence. So yes, you were probably maybe at your pinnacle of struggle, maybe less, maybe not. That's a wrong way of looking at it. It wasn't at your pinnacle of struggle, but you were struggling when I met you on some level. I maybe exacerbated it at the start of our relationship through behaviour, what I did, as in taking drugs. That's just, I haven't touched them for years now, and I'm so proud of that. And that's been well documented, and that really set off your anxiety and everything else within you. But you've helped me more than I've probably helped you. Helped you, because you think of imagine we're side by side. Yeah, I'm not saying this is a competition, but I was probably worse off at that point.
Yeah,
that makes sense. I'm not saying you was any worse from a mental health perspective, but we've both grown together. That's not a coincidence.
Yeah.
What we've built is not a coincidence. Billy is not a coincidence. Our family is not a coincidence. We've just grown our family to a degree, as in the team, the members, the partnerships that we have. And look what we're fucking doing on a coincidence. I think that's just, it was destined to happen.
Yeah. There's a reason why I'm here to this day, sitting here in front of you with a camera. In the community where I grew up, I literally lived across the road. The centre helps hundreds of people in a real life way. That there's a reason why I'm here doing this with 100%. You. But I'm not saying it's just me, because it's not just me. But I'm here for a reason, and I absolutely get that.
Definitely, and I think we've heard many success stories, and we wrote a lot about the success stories. But I think this success story is probably the best one, because it's allowed and enabled everybody else's success story to be shared and to be developed. Because if you never improved and we never improved together, we wouldn't be sitting here talking about your podcast. Sorry, talking about your success story and speaking from the heart overall.
Sounds a bit dark, doesn't it? I mean, it is a success story. There is great news.
Look what we've developed from it.
Yeah.
Like, obviously from a camera perspective, you don't get to see all this, but social media, Rage Fitness Company, across every channel, you see the success stories that we push out for members, and the
be
partnerships that we
honest-
form, and the schools that we work with, and the companies that we work with across the UK. Yes, we have our Wellbeing Centre here because you lived across the road from us. So this was formed probably because of you.
This is my heart. This is where I belong. This is what I'm meant to do. I know that.
100%, and we're only just getting started. This is
Just warming up.
we are. This is
Actually saying that,
literally just
didn't we?
warming up, isn't
Yeah.
it? So like your strength and your success stories enabled everyone else's success story, including my fucking own. So thank you for that.
Cheers.
I'll say thank you again.
Okay.
Thank you.
All done?
Done.